Hello once again, everyone. Original Blood Ace back again, and it is time for my review of Shovel Knight, since I completed it and finished uploading it the other day. So, let's get right into it. Very typical, we will go over the pros, and then the cons, and there's not really that many cons with the game, but let's just get right into it. First of all, the art style, if you can call it that. The 8-bit style really brings me back to the NES days, and even somewhat the SNES days, the Super Nintendo, even though the Super Nintendo was 16-bit. So it did pull at my heartstrings a little bit, which, if a game can do that, it's already off to a great start. The soundtrack, while not on the level of, say, something like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, it was still a very solid soundtrack that could be enjoyed. The story itself, not amazing, but good. In my opinion, anyway. It's a bit confusing, though. There's a few plot holes, I guess you could say, in the story where you're kind of like, wait, what's going on? Or, wait, how did that happen? Or stuff like that. For example, this is a bit of a spoiler, so if you don't want to hear this part, fast forward the next 10-15 seconds or whatever. But at the end of the game, Shield Knight, who you're trying to save, you save her, and then she's like sacrificing herself to fight the boss of the game at the end, and she's telling you to get out of there, and then, oh, I guess she died, but then at the very end of the game, somehow she survived and just limps up to you and then crawls up beside you, and then that's the end. It's like, how the fuck did you survive? We don't even find out. So, I don't know. Power-ups and items in the game. I liked the items. Everything from the invincibility bracelet, whatever it was called, to the fire rod thing, the anchor throwing thing, and all the other ones. I hardly used like 2 or 3 of them, but still, they were fun to use. And the power-ups, like upgrading your armor and your shovel skills, was a nice touch. Collectibles. There was only music letters, or music notes, or whatever you want to call those things. I forget the official name. But, so it's in one sense it was kind of like, there's only the one collectible, but at the same time, they made up for it by having some were really challenging to get, and I didn't even get them all. But I didn't need to, because frankly, I just didn't, most games I don't go for all collectibles. Zelda's really the main one that I always do. Yeah, level design is up next, and now each level was completely different. So it was definitely a variety of levels throughout the game. No 2 levels were alike. That's always a plus. Another pro about this game, which isn't actually about the game itself, it's more about the developer, which I've talked about in a video before, was that Yacht Club Games lets you do whatever you want with their game. You can play it and monetize it and make money off it, do whatever. So that's just an honorable mention in the pros. Now let's get into the cons. Not much to go over in the con area. The game length is really the main con, I would say. Then again, the game is like, what, 15, 16 bucks on the eShop, but it was a bit too short. My playthrough was only like 15 episodes long. Well, it was 15 episodes long. So it's not even that there was even 20 levels in the game overall. So that's a little bit on the short side. I would have liked it to have been, I don't know, I would say maybe double that would have been nice. And then lastly, for the cons, bosses. They were a bit all over the place. Some of them were quite easy to deal with, while other ones really were a pain in the ass and just kind of made you rage a bit. So it's not a huge issue, but it's just a little kind of nitpicking that I was doing. And that's really the only 2 cons, if any, with the game, I have to say. So I'm already going to be wrapping up this review. I would say out of a score of 10, I would give Shovel Knight an 8 to an 8.5 out of 10. Definitely something you should pick up. Although I think it would be better if it is 16 bucks, which I think it is. I think they should dock it $1 and make it just 15 bucks. But yeah, I guess that'll do for my review of Shovel Knight. It's definitely a good, fun game. It reminds me of the old days in the NES and Super Nintendo. And if you were around playing those consoles back then you'll definitely enjoy it. It has its humor in the game. It has, I guess that's something I forgot to talk about in the pros, was there is some humor in the game. Um, but yeah, I guess that'll do it. Good game. I recommend it. 8 to 8.5 out of 10. And if you got, 15 bucks or 16 bucks or whatever lying around on your eShop account, then you should definitely consider getting Shovel Knight. I'm Original Blood Ace. As always, stay tuned. More videos coming soon.